What's up, cozy gamers? It's been a little over a week since Palworld was released in early access, and my oh my how this game has blown up. In just 1 week, Pocket Pair has sold over 8 million copies worldwide, and the game hit a record high of over 2 million concurrent players, being only the second game in Steam history to do so. Now, there is a lot of controversy around the game involving AI and potential copyright infringement, but we're not going into that today. Instead, I want to give my honest review of the game based on the week of playtime I've had so far. There are a lot of positive points, but a handful of negatives too, so let's get into it. Let's start with the good. Palworld is a big game with a lot to do. Honestly, that was one of the things that made me most apprehensive about the game, that it was trying to do or be too many things and it wouldn't do any of it successfully. I'm happy to announce, however, that most of what it sets out to do, it does well. And keep in mind throughout the whole video that the game is still in early access, so a lot can and most likely will be changed in the future. The game mixes Pokemon with a survival game, with a life sims game, with the shooter. If you want to explore and catch pals, you can do that. The map is huge. There are over 100 different pals to collect too. If you want to go out battling, you can do that too. In fact, I think PvP was promised for a future update. If you want to grind and build up your base, you can do that too. And if you want to make a really cute house like me, well, you can do that too. As I mentioned, I've been playing for about a week now and I've still barely scratched the surface. Add to that all the collectibles like effigies hidden around the world map that, if collected, can be used to increase your catching power, and you will be a very busy bee. Another thing that I love about this game is the level up skill tree system. Not only do your pals level up, you do too, and when you level up, you unlock points that can be used to upgrade your health, attack, stamina, working speed, or weight, and other points to unlock new recipes for your base, including cute furniture. Sorry, I just love the furniture in this game way more than I thought I would, so I'm gonna bring it up a lot. But there is a caveat to leveling up. On the one hand, as you level, get stronger, and unlock better equipment, the game gets easier and the world becomes more accessible, but the start of the game is really rough. I guess that's sort of the point as a survival game, but I did feel a little demoralized early on because, for example, the base glider is so slow and eats up your stamina like crazy. Everything feels weak and almost pointless. Again, probably the point. It may just be because I'm new to survival games, admittedly, but once I upgraded my glider for the first time and felt the difference, I was so happy and immediately motivated to keep leveling up to unlock something even better. You can also use your pals as a glider too. Another thing I really appreciate in Palworld is how you can customize your world to your liking. For example, I turned off the feature of losing all my items when I die because it lets me enjoy the game a little less stressfully. You can even turn off raids so you never have to worry about your base being destroyed after all your hard work. And the opposite is true too. If you want to make the game more challenging, there are settings that allow you to do that. The only setting that's missing is the ability to adjust brightness. For me, the game is way too dark at night. Again, probably the point for a survival game as they want you to use the torch, but I feel like it makes the game a little less accessible for people who have difficulty seeing. And just like the glider, having to carry the base torch is a pain. It swaps out your weapon or tool, so if you want to battle a pal at night, you need to put it away and then fight in the dark. And when you climb, it also gets put away, making it so hard to see where you're going. But again, just like the glider, eventually you unlock a hip lantern that stays with you always and is super convenient and nice. Did I mention that you can also play Palworld with friends? Because you can! Up to 4 friends can play together on a personal file, and up to 32 friends can play if you join a dedicated server. However, there is something to note. Palworld is similar to Fae Farm in that if you want to play with friends and you all didn't start a file together in the same world initially, you will have to make a brand new character to join their world, or vice versa. So if you started a personal file and then wanted to play with a friend in their world, you would not be able to join them with your current character. You would have to make a new one. It's a bit annoying in my opinion because I wouldn't want to make a new character while I'm still working on my first, but there was mention of server transfers and migrations in their roadmap, so hopefully we'll get that soon. The last positive point is just how silly and unserious the game is. I have to say that the marketing for this game was genius. They made the game look so unhinged with the guns and murder and pal sweatshops, and while those things are part of the game, they are not at the forefront as much as you'd think. In fact, you could probably play the entire game without making a single gun. And your pals definitely help you a lot with building, taking care of the base, producing items, etc., but you most certainly do not have to set it up like some weird dystopian factory line. I just love some of the dex entries, the floppy ragdoll physics of knocked out pals, and the fact that you can give guns to a tiny cute squirrelmon if you so pleased. The game just feels so fun, funny, and exciting all at once. Now let's talk about the bad. Most of these I can list off without having to explain, so it won't take long. The list isn't that big since I mentioned some negatives already, I promise. First, the game does not pause when you open your menu. I have died so many times because of this, and it is poop. But I also get why it's that way. Another thing I noticed is how easy it is to accidentally throw PAL spheres both on controller and keyboard. This one could just be on me, but I have heard others in my community say that they have had similar issues. Maybe changing like the keybinds or the button mapping could help with this, but the default, it is very easy to accidentally press the wrong button. The game also doesn't have a lock-on feature, so when you're surrounded by multiple enemies and or pals, it's very hard to control who you and your own pals are attacking. It's especially annoying for targets that move around a lot. This is annoying for when you're trying to catch them as well, because you'll end up throwing and missing and wasting pal spheres as well, so it just can be a pain. You'll also notice that the game doesn't have a lot of character or story depth. There are syndicate leaders, think Pokemon gym leaders, that you battle, but even they don't have dialogue. When you enter their tower, there's a very short cutscene that shows them and their pal, and then the battle starts. You can find journal entries around the world map, some of which belong to these syndicate leaders, fleshing them out a little bit, but the journal entries are easily missable. There's a lot of potential in Palworld for a good story, but it seems like they're kind of wasting it. And the last pain point I have, which may be my biggest pain point with this game, is the fact that you cannot move items or structures without disassembling and reassembling them. It's very annoying, especially with chests that have items in them, because then when you disassemble it, you have to pick up all those items too, and then put them back in when you remake the chest. More frustrating when you think about the weight limit for items in your pocket. I can understand if you are moving your items to a totally different area of the map for a new base or something, but I should be allowed to move a chest over a couple of feet without all the hassle. Oh, but I do have another good point I was just reminded of while talking about chests, and hey, maybe it's best to end it on a positive note. In Palworld, items stack into the thousands, so they don't take up as much space in your pockets or chests. A huge improvement from most Life Sims games, and I was very happily surprised to see it. And there you have it, my brutally honest opinion of Palworld. Is it a perfect game? No. Would I still recommend it? Absolutely. As I mentioned, it's in early access, so there's a lot of potential for things to change or be added in the future. As it is right now though, it's still a fun and relatively chill game. If you liked today's video, be sure to comment below your opinions of Palworld and give the video a like, it helps a ton. And if you want more cozy gaming content in the future, be sure to subscribe and check out my socials in the description box below. I also live stream on Twitch. Until next time, cozy gamers, stay cute.